Hello, today I'm doing a bit of a different video. Today I'm doing a skincare video, sort of. I'm going to talk about my experience on Accutane. If you don't know what that is, it is a bit more of a serious drug used to treat acne. It is sort of a last resort for a lot of people, and it was for me. But overall, I had a great experience on it. It was hard, definitely worth it for me in the end, and is a serious decision to make, which is what I want to start with. As a preface, this is not for everyone, and everyone experiences this drug differently. I had pretty easy side effects in the grand scheme of things. There can be like mental health side effects with this medicine. I did not have anything like that, but that is just my experience, and so take everything I say with a grain of salt. This is what I experienced on this medication, and in the end, these side effects definitely were worth surviving versus having to continue dealing with my problematic skin. Before I get into talking about my experience, just as a background information, I did have pretty bad acne since I was a teenager, and I sort of dealt with it for a long time because, you know, every teenager has acne and I thought it would go away. But I was getting to the point where it was my second year in college and I just thought I should be past this. It's not like I'm growing anymore. I've been on other medications, I've tried other topicals, and like nothing was working, and that's why I decided to try Accutane. I just thought it was the best option for me, and I talked with my dermatologist, and that is what we decided to do. It was getting to the point where I just couldn't deal with it anymore, and I really wanted to feel more comfortable in my own skin because I love doing makeup, and I do it almost every day just because I like taking that time to myself in the morning and just getting ready for the day. But sometimes before I was on Accutane, it felt more like a hassle because I felt like I had to put makeup on just to feel more comfortable with myself. I was really sick of dealing with that. This is going to be just sort of an overview of my experience. I'm not going to get into too many details, but if you want something in more detail, I go month by month with my side effects and sort of my progress in a blog, which I will link below at the top of the description box. But this video, I'm just going to talk about overall side effects and how I felt about them, my results, and I will talk a little bit about products I used. So overall, the main side effects I experienced were dryness of the skin, dryness of the lips, and redness of the skin, rashes on my arms and hands. With the dryness, I did my best to combat it with moisturizers and drinking lots of water. Overall, I felt okay with my dryness. Month 4 and 5 were probably the hardest with dryness, and then coming back up to a colder climate in months 5 and 6 definitely made my skin a lot drier. While the dryness was hard to deal with, I had plenty of moisturizers that fought it as best as it could. It definitely was difficult to apply makeup onto. Sometimes I would just deal with it like halfway throughout the day, or like sometime in the evening if I still had more stuff to do later that day. I would just like take parts of my foundation off or all of my foundation off and redo it if I really needed to. I didn't do that every day, but it definitely had to happen a few times. The other side effect that was pretty prevalent was the redness in my skin, mostly like concentrated here in my cheeks, but really it was just sort of my whole face, and a bit on like my arms, but it was very concentrated in my face. This one, I never found a remedy for it. I don't think there really is one. This one, I just would try and apply foundation over it the best I could. This side effect wouldn't have bothered me so much if people didn't like notice it so much. I don't really know why, but people would be like, oh, did you get a sunburn? Oh, did you get some sun? Like, what happened to your face? I'm like, first of all, like, why do you have to ask? Except I had so many people ask me. I had strangers ask me, like people at the grocery store that were like ringing up my stuff, or like even when it was coming from like friends or family. It was just really annoying because like I have never been someone who wants to talk about my skin because it's always been problematic to me, and now I'm finally trying to fix it in this new way, and people just keep calling me out in that way, and I got really sick of the question, did you get some sun? Like, I know I'm pale and I know my face is really red, but like I had so many people ask me that. That really bothered me, like, and that happened like all 6 months of being on it. I still don't know why people wanted to ask. Why, like, can't you just accept that that's what I look like today? The other big side effect was dry lips, which goes on with the dry skin. This one, I tried my very best. I have acquired so many different brands of chapstick. I don't know if there's one out there that's really the best. Just find what works for you. Switch it up every so often because one is not going to work the best the whole time, in my experience. Drink water, lots of chapstick, moisturize your lips as much as you can. I did do a few lip masks throughout the 6 months when I was before I did Comic-Con, because I knew I had to wear lipstick with my costumes. I did a lip mask. And then my fourth most prevalent side effect was the rashes on my arms and my hands. They have mostly gone now. Right now my hands are really dry from how freezing it is outside. But this was a pretty big side effect, and not everyone has this one, but I already have sort of sensitive skin. And being on Accutane can make your skin even more sensitive. That's why they advise you to wear so much sunscreen and stuff. And I have pictures of the rashes throughout the months in my blog, and it was just basically just an irritation of the skin. It wasn't too bad. I got it from wearing clothes that would irritate my skin, so I had to switch to like a non-scented laundry detergent, which I've had to do before anyway. Like, I've had problems with certain detergents in the past, so that wasn't the biggest deal. The doctor did prescribe me a topical to help with it, and I used some rose oil ointment. They weren't ever particularly painful. There were some nights where they would be if I hadn't moisturized them enough, or if I had worn a long sleeve like this. That's why the rashes were worse in like the 5th and 6th month, because I was back up in the north and it was getting colder. I was starting to wear more long sleeves in like my jacket and stuff. And that definitely irritated my skin more. Overall, I'm really pleased with the results. I'm only a few weeks out from finishing the pills. I finished them a couple weeks ago. So my skin is still healing and sort of readjusting to this new normal. I'm really happy with the results. I do have makeup on today, not too much, but like if you'd asked me like 8 months ago if I thought I would ever have a day where like I don't have anything on my skin, I don't think I could fathom it, because I just have never had a day like that. I've never been able to comfortably go outside with nothing on my face and be like confident that my skin looks great. And my skin is still, the redness is still dying down in my skin, but I also naturally have a very like pink flushed face. And there are still days, most days, I still wear makeup, I still wear foundation and everything, but that's just because I love to do makeup in the morning. I also now feel a lot more comfortable going out without makeup. Like, I know I could get up, put clothes on, and leave if I had to and not feel a bit uncomfortable throughout the day. I really am really pleased with that result, that I can feel so much more comfortable in my own skin, how I should feel. I'm really, really grateful that I went through this whole process, because it was difficult to deal with the side effects. But overall, I'm so happy that I did it. And maybe this isn't the medication for everyone, maybe it wouldn't work for everyone, but it worked for me, and I'm really, really happy with the results. And there's still the possibility that I'd have to do Accutane again someday if the acne ever comes back. But like, if I had to, I would. Over the course of these 6 months, I also discovered a lot of products that, one, helped with Accutane while I was on it, and I think will just help me a lot in the future with skincare. There are a lot of products that I really, really enjoy. I'll just take you sort of through the steps that I would do. I would start off with the CeraVe Hydrating Facial Cleanser for normal to dry skin. This thing is almost empty, but this lasted me 6 months. It's just about gone. Big bottle, it wasn't too expensive, super gentle on the skin, it worked really great. One thing I cut out of my routine, my skincare routine, was toner. My skin was just too sensitive for it. In the morning, I would use this simple sensitive skin protecting light moisturizer with SPF 15, because having sunscreen on every day on your face is super important. And I would use this clear zinc sunscreen because the zinc is supposed to protect your skin better. I don't know. This is what I used when I was in Universal Studios, so I was out in the sun. Next, if I was looking to use a lighter moisturizer, or if I was moisturizing at some point throughout the middle of the day because my skin had just gotten dry at like 2 o'clock, which happened, I use the CeraVe Daily Moisturizing Lotion for normal to dry skin. It's just the one that like goes with the soap, and I really liked this too. I have a lot more of this left because I don't use it every day, but it's super lightweight. It's a nice moisturizer. The 2 nighttime moisturizers that I sort of alternated between, which this is almost gone, which makes me so sad, is the Clinique Moisture Surge 72-Hour Auto Replenishing Hydrator. It's the pink gel moisturizer. I cannot recommend this enough. This is a bit more expensive. I think this was $35, so it's not the worst. If you can do a bit of a splurge, I cannot recommend this moisturizer enough. I really, really think it helped my skin a lot. The like gel consistency of it, I think, helped the dry skin so much. It didn't irritate my like sensitive skin at all. The other nighttime moisturizer I used was the Skin Renewing Night Cream by CeraVe. I saw this on a lot of like Accutane videos recommended for a nighttime one. I didn't use this every night. I usually alternated every other night between these two, or just based it off what I thought my skin needed. This I usually used more if I like had really dry skin that night. This is a much thicker consistency. I think it's almost empty. It's like a much thicker lotion, so that I used for like a drier skin days. This piece I think is what is really important in my skincare routine throughout the 6 months, and it is 100% organic cold pressed rose hip seed oil by The Ordinary. All these companies need to get shorter names. But it's just a facial oil that I would put on after the moisturizer. I think it helped a little bit with the redness. It did help with any of the scarring that was on my face. I have probably almost no scarring left on my face. I do still have some left on my chest and back because those were also really big problem areas for me. This helped so much, and this is super affordable. I think it was $14, $10, I can't quite remember, but I also saw this on an Accutane video recommended by thataylaa. I'll link her channel below because she has a lot of good Accutane videos, and like she was the person I looked to the most for like product recommendations and stuff, and she recommended this, and I think it helps so much. Then the two products I used for the rashes was this Young Living Rose Ointment, which is an essential oil. This might irritate some of people's skin, but it really helped me a lot. This one is a bit boring, but this is the stuff that the doctor gave me for my rashes too. It's just a gel to rub on them. And like I said, I used a lot of different chapsticks over the course of 6 months. I used Carmex, Chapstick brand, Burt's Bees, every chapstick you could think of. I did use Aquaphor, which was actually probably my least favorite. I used a CeraVe like lip cream, but when it came down to it, my favorite is the Smith's Minted Rose Lip Balm, which I got in the tin version, and it smells so good. And I just got this at Sephora for like $6. Overall, this is the best one. It smells the best, first of all. And this was the most moisturizing and helped my lips be not so like cracked and dry. And that the best one was probably Carmex for me. Everyone said use the Aquaphor. Like, I can't remember what it's called, but the Aquaphor that like comes in the tube, and that one was okay. It just left such a gross like residue on my lips that I didn't like it very much. I did use Clinique's Beyond Perfecting Foundation and Concealer the whole time. That was the foundation I was using. Overall, it went okay on my dry skin. So that was my experience on Accutane. Hope you enjoyed it. I hope you learned something from it. Like I've been saying, I wrote a very in-depth blog. If you have any questions about my experience on Accutane, I would love to talk about it. I feel like I have learned a lot over the last 6 months. Like I said, for me, this was completely worth it. I'm really glad that I did it. I'm glad that I put up with the side effects. There were days where my skin was so dry, my lips were so dry, and I was just so frustrated. But like now that I'm at the end, I can look back on it. I'm so happy with the results. Thank you for watching. I upload every Sunday, or at least I'm trying to. We'll see you next time. Bye. I cannot recognize, that doesn't,